Hey guys, Taz here. It's Halloween, and that means it's time for some spooky drawings. Now, I don't normally draw spooky or creepy things, so these may end up being more creepy in concept than in actual design. There's also two drawings in this video instead of only the one, because I didn't want to have to create a whole separate video just for my second drawing. If I did that, then by the time I finished editing and doing a voiceover, it wouldn't be out till after Halloween, and I didn't want that. So for my first design, I have my version of a carnivorous plant. Not the most unique concept, but I've added some design elements to try and make it more my own. Of course, the original inspiration for this creature comes from an old theater production turned movie called Little Shop of Horrors. In it, the lead character has a strange plant from a Chinese flower shop. Over time, he learns that the plant feeds on blood. The plant has intelligence and learns to speak. Eventually, as with most horror stories, the plant grows giant and starts to eat people. I've seen the film a few times, my parents have a copy of it, and it's definitely worth a watch. So with this drawing, I made my own carnivorous plant. I gave it a smaller mouth and a long tongue, the idea behind it being that it would use its tongue like a straw to suck out the blood from its prey. And then once the body was drained, the plant would then eat the dried husk. The next design concept I came up with was that I wanted the plant to be able to move around. But instead of moving around on vines, I created these sharp blade-like appendages for the plant to skitter about on, kind of like a mechanical spider. If you've ever read the horror manga GYO, that's where I got the idea from. The manga is awesome, gross, and the sharks go gashunk. I actually own a copy of the manga, and it's pretty great. I spent a lot more time on this first monster drawing, trying to figure out the shading and how I wanted to blend the colors together. There was a lot of layering involved. I've also added smaller heads along the side of the plant to help fill out the creature design. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I don't usually draw creepy things. I have a delicate relationship with creepy and spooky things. I love horror movies, but not gory ones. Gore is gross, and in my opinion, it's usually unnecessary for a good story. It's just there for the gross out factor. I love watching horror game Let's Plays because I like finding out the storyline, but I'll never play a horror game myself because I'm too chicken. And I've only ever read a handful of horror-themed books. I've read The Exorcist, and even though I have a copy of The Poltergeist, I've still never finished reading it. I've picked it up a few times to try reading it. I make it to about chapter 4 or 5, to when the creepy clown doll starts to walk around on its own, and then I put it down and just never go back to it. One day I'll finish it. Maybe. On this second drawing, I wasn't so concerned with having perfectly smooth lines for the outlines, and I didn't have anything symmetrical to worry about, like the flower pot in the last one. so the actual drawing took a lot less time. And because I had just finished the plant monster, I already knew how I wanted my brushes set up for shading. Originally, I was thinking of coloring this thing green, but since my plant monster is already green, I've decided to go with a yellow instead. For this drawing, I didn't really base it on anything in particular. I just started drawing shapes and curves, and this is what came out. There's no real thought behind this creature design. How would it eat with its eye in its mouth? Wouldn't its teeth hurt its eye? But regardless if it's a functional creature or not, you can't deny that it looks pretty cool. It's the sort of creature that you'd find in a nightmare. It doesn't have to make sense to be creepy. In fact, some would probably argue that the less sense it makes, the creepier it is, because you can't just use logic to understand it. At least that's how my dreams work. I can lucid dream, so that means that I have some control over what I dream about, and if I can logic my way through a situation in my dream, then I can somewhat control what happens in the dream. But with some dreams, no amount of rational thought will help you make sense of what's happening. And if those turn into nightmares, well, then you're in for a bad time. Not much else to say about these drawings. I've gotten better at using my software and being able to shade effectively. As you can see, practice makes perfect. But I still have to learn how some of the other functions on this drawing program work. So that'll come in time. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Taz, wishing you all a safe and happy Halloween, and thanks for watching.